Okay, guys, today we're going to cover energy flow. All right, it's also known as the lesson on food webs and food chains. All right, okay, so remember, we are still in the study of ecology. We are studying interactions. Okay, here are your biotic factors, living influences, and then your abiotic factors, non living influences. And getting back to the nutrients. Okay, now we're studying energy. Right? Remember when we were doing our lesson on the cycles of matter or the cycles of nutrients? Okay, we did talk about that being how matter gets into living things, how matter cycles throughout the planet, how it gets into living things, and it comes back out of living things and goes back into the abiotic environment. Okay, now that's matter. Now we're going to cover energy. All right, do understand that energy only moves in one direction, okay? So keep that in mind. Matter can cycle, energy can only move in one direction, all right? So if you guys watch The Lion King when Mufasa was talking about, the great circle of life and how, the lions eat the antelope, then when the lions die, they turn into grass and the antelope eats the grass, okay? Do understand that is about matter, not energy. Okay, here energy moves in one direction. Okay, now what types of nutrients gives you energy? All right, so it is the organic nutrients. All right, the nutrients that gives you energy measured in calories. Okay, so there are three things in this world that gives you calories, and that is proteins, lipids, aka your fats, and your carbohydrates. All right, built up of simple sugars. Okay. Okay. Now the fourth macromolecule that makes up life does not give you energy. It is considered a macromolecule. All right, but it doesn't give you energy because it's in such small amounts, and it is very hard for us to break down. Okay. Okay. Now, do you understand that there is also the inorganic nutrients? All right, things that our bodies need, but it does not give you calories. Okay, things like vitamins and minerals. Like iron, salt, calcium, your electrolytes. All right, things like that. Okay. Now, energy. All the energy on this planet comes from two sources. All right. Of course, you guys know the main source is from the sun over here. All right. What you guys may not know of is that there are whole entire ecosystems on the bottom of the ocean that does not rely on energy from the sun. All right. These are relatively new ecosystems discovered in the 60s or 70s. And because it's so hard to study them, to actually go down to the bottom of the ocean, it takes tens of thousands of dollars. Not much studies have been done on these ecosystems. All right. So today's lesson will focus on the source of energy coming from the sun. Okay, now you guys have producers. Okay. Now, because there are two sources of energy, there are two two kinds of producers. All right. Ones that make energy from the sun, they are called photoautotrophs, all right? And ones that make energy from the Earth's chemicals. These are called chemoautotrophs, okay? So chemoautotrophs are are the producers or the autotrophs that are found at the bottom of the ocean, all right, in those deep sea hydrothermal vent communities. And this is the extent that you need to know about chemoautotrophs, all right, is that there are completely isolated ecosystems that do not need energy from the sun, okay? Okay, now photoautotrophs. Okay, we'll study these things in depth. All right. Okay, for the examples, I've got a Venus flytrap here for your photoautotroph, and I got these giant tube worms underwater for your examples of a chemoautotroph. Okay, the reason why I put the Venus flytrap as the example for your photoautotroph is because it's kind of weird, right? It also eats, but autotrophs are supposed to produce their own energy, so they shouldn't need to eat for energy. Okay, now the distinction is that all of your carnivorous plants, they actually eat for a type of nutrient, okay, but not for your organic nutrients. Plants cannot eat for energy. Okay, so basically, carnivorous plants all grow in areas where the soil is very void or absent of vitamins and minerals. Okay, therefore, they actually have to eat insects or other living things to actually get their inorganic nutrients, their vitamins and minerals. Okay, next is your consumers. All right, first you guys have your producers, now you have your consumers. Consumers are also known as heterotrophs. Okay, troph means energy. All right, hetero means different. Okay, so it's getting energy from something else. Okay, autotrophs, auto means self. All right, troph means energy, so self energy. Okay, they produce their own energy. Okay, there are five main types of heterotrophs. All right, you've got your herbivores, and they eat plants. All right, or they eat the autotrophs. You've got carnivores. All right, they only eat animals. All right, you've got omnivores. Okay, they eat everything, animals and plants. All right, fungi, everything. Detritivores will eat dead matter, and then decomposers will actually break down any type of organic matter for energy. Okay, the difference between your detritivore and your decomposer is that decomposers actually can break down any type of organic matter, even something like paper. Right, if you keep string of paper with water, sometimes you'll see black mold growing on it. Okay, because a black mold is a type of fungi that is a decomposer, and they can actually break down any organic matter for energy. Okay, no matter if it's been dead for a very long time. All right, do you understand that as consumers also, right, being consumers, all consumers and all heterotrophs have to get their energy from something else that is or was alive. Okay, so that's the big thing here. All right, consumers have to take energy from something else. So everything that you've ever eaten for energy is or at some point was alive or comes from something that was alive. All right, something to think about. Here's your herbivore, carnivore, omnivore. All right, omnivore. Okay, here are some examples. The shark is your carnivore. Koala is your herbivore. The bear is your omnivore. Bears actually eat plants and animals, all right, and fungi. You got your fungi over here. That's the decomposer, all right, and then the worm is your detritivore. Eats dead matter. Okay. Now, fungi. All right. Do you understand that all fungi are heterotrophs? So all fungi, mushrooms, all right, they have to eat something for energy. Okay, so fungi are pretty interesting in that they're not really plants, and but most people view them as vegetables. Okay, all fungi have to eat. All right, and like interestingly enough, there are some parasitic fungi that grow on you know animals such as us. Like you've got athlete's foot, you've got our ringworms. All right, and to understand that if you guys have one of these parasitic fungi, all right, the fungi is actually getting its energy by eating you. Okay, so you should get rid of that if you've got something like that. Okay, onto the food chain. Remember, this is a chain of energy flow. You have to understand that. It is not a chain of what eats what. Okay, a food chain and a food web shows the flow of energy. Okay, for example, here I've got the grass. Okay, the arrow points to the rabbit. Okay, so the energy from the grass goes to the rabbit. All right, the energy from the rabbit goes to the fox. Okay, so again, it is a chain of where the energy goes, not what eats what. Okay, the grass does not eat the rabbit. The rabbit does not eat the fox. Okay, now another thing you have to realize is that it is a one-way flow of energy. It is not a cycle. All right, not like the cycles of matter. Energy goes in only one direction. Okay, here's an example. Okay, the energy from the rabbit goes to the fox, meaning the fox ate the rabbit. Okay, it doesn't cycle. The fox cannot, like say, hey, rabbit, here's our energy back, and hack up its foot or something. Okay, that does not work. Energy cannot go backwards. All right, it can only go one way. Once it's been transferred, it cannot go back. Okay. Okay, here is a Hawaiian food chain, simple. This is your native Hawaiian hibiscus. Okay, it is also a type of cotton. All right, they're very similar and very related. So this native Hawaiian hibiscus, it's pretty interesting. When I used to do research, I worked on this plant and propagated it, and now it's actually found along a lot of different coasts on the east side. Okay, it's a coastal plant. Okay, now this is a amakihi. This amakihi is a type of Hawaiian honey creeper. It eats nectar. All right. So the energy from the hibiscus goes to the native Hawaiian honey creeper. All right, because it eats the nectar, and then of course the Hawaiian hawk, the eel. All right, energy from the amakihi flows to the hawk because the hawk actively hunts and eats the native Hawaiian birds. All right. Okay, now nature is not so simple. All right, it's a very complex string of interconnected food chains or interconnected flow of energy. All right, flow of energies. Okay, so in this case, it's called a food web. Okay. Okay, here's the simple food web here that we will be using to go through trophic levels in a little bit. Okay, here is a coral reef, an actual more complicated food web. All right.